everybody, and especially all of our seedlings, to the Seed Group Podcast. I'm Carla.
I'm Norman. Yep, that's him. And I'm Albert. If you need any of our services, please call 708-351-0333.
And I'm Rickey, SlamminDatBass Productions. If you need any recordings, see me.
Special guest.
Wow, this is the first time we've had a guest do their own introduction.
That nice?
Okay.
That's right.
Well, we would be remiss if we did not welcome and say hello to our awesome producer, Marcus. Hello, Marcus. Yay. And as you have heard, we have a special guest, and it is Mr. Rickey Hawkins. And again, welcome, sir. So, yay. So I want to get started with you giving us, we know your background. Would you give our audience a little bit of your background?
Well, again, let me say it. I'm Rickey Hawkins. I am a bass player, a musician. I also work on instruments as well. And I produce. I engineer for SlamminDatBass Productions. I'm the CEO of SlamminDatBass Productions. So you gotta be happy.
I like that.
Now, when you say you work on instruments, can you give the audience a brief description of how you do that and go about that?
Well, being a bass player, I do what you call modifications. Okay, sometimes what we do when we buy an instrument, depending on the wood of the instrument, we want to get more out of it. Okay, and sometimes we have to start off by, we work with the strings, and then we'll work with the pickups. Then we'll work what we call the guts. Okay, yeah, the guts. And what we do, we change that around. And most of the time, as a bass player myself, I like to have a punch sound when I'm playing. Okay, so with the punch, it kind of like cut through the mix when you record it. Okay, so certain woods we found out we can change pickups with those, and a lot of the guys, they just like to try different things without buying amps and all that stuff, and just work with what they get. So that's why I come in.
Okay. Well, I have a question. Just one more question about this. What is the most difficult thing that you have done in working on a stringed instrument?
Well, I like that. Well, what happens is when a bass guitar or a guitar period have a bow in it, if you have a bow that's going like in the U shape, you're kind of good. But if you have a back bow, that's the problem. And if it's a neck through, throw it away.
Ooh.
Yeah, because see what happens is wood changes. Wood is always breathing. And a lot of times you have to put an instrument in a place where you have some nice humidified type of area, Right. Other than that, sometimes your wood will move on you. If you get an instrument that the wood is constantly moving and you got to keep what we call tweaking the neck, it's good to get rid of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So, Albert, did you learn something?
I learned something, yeah.
See
all
that?
Cars need to be tweaked.
Oh, wow.
Ding, 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 ding. The more you know. See that? So,
Oh, yeah.
So in your wonderful, over 40-year career, you have worked with a lot of amazing people. Who are some of the people that you work for? I mean, I know some people you've worked with. The one that really piqued my interest was Edwin Hawkins.
Yes.
And for those of our seedlings that do not know who Edwin Hawkins is, you need to Google and do some research. So, so tell us a little bit about that.
Right.
Well, as a child growing up, my father is actually part of the Hawkins. So that, of course, brought us into the family of the Hawkins.
I was wondering with the name, yeah.
How we came into the play. And when I was little, we would see people like, he would play with Mighty Claws of Joy. These are old names, okay? The Williams Brothers, Inez, Andrew, Shirley Caesar, so on and so on. By me being Rickey and my father was Richard, I inherited some things. Okay, so I took a love of bass guitar when I was 3 years old. So as a little kid, he would buy me these little toy guitars, and I'm sitting in between his legs playing and going to the studio with him and to different shows and everything. So I got interested in it. And I guess I was kind of like forced to do things I didn't want to do as far as playing. You know how these little kids, you want to go out and play and do your thing. And so I got drafted to do a recording. Yeah, I got drafted to do a recording. After that, I didn't like it. So I said, you know what? I don't want to do this. So I stepped away from it for a while, but I was always going to different churches playing. And after that, I came back, and here I am.
Oh, you know, you and Norman could share stories about that.
Right.
Some really interesting stories. So what is it like to tour? For those of that have never toured, I know they're interested in that. So what has it been like for you to tour? Especially starting from the early days until now.
Well, when you're touring, sometimes you have to be prepped, okay? But if you thrown into a situation, I was always basically kind of half thrown into a situation, learning the material, then you get there and you playing, and then what I don't like is when they change the song on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like 5 songs to do, you end up doing 2 out of 5. Oh yeah, you know, so and yeah, you know, they do that with you. So it bothered me. Then sometimes you don't really eat. You're not really in a room where you're comfortable, you know, with maybe, you know, with somebody there with you, whatever. Yeah, so you know, it's okay if that's what you like. I don't like the road anymore. So I took on doing the other thing as far as the studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that. Once you've been on the road for so long, you kind of grow a little bit weary of it. And one of the things that you decide that you want to do, you want to be a little stationary.
Right.
And I think that's why a lot of people do residencies. How do you feel about doing a residency?
Well, you mean like studio wise?
Not just even studio wise, but actually doing the residency where you just decided to be like, say, like the Shylights, which I know that you have worked with. You know, there, and I don't think, because he did make the announcement, they're going to be doing a Vegas residency.
Yeah. You work with FD? Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm not giving anything away because they did announce it.
Right.
So how do you feel about that? How do you feel about saying, okay, you know what? I'm tired of touring. I just want to kick back and I want to do a 2 or 3 year residency and performing, you know, so many nights out of the week. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's good for a person that wants to do that, okay, and be away on the road like that. But me, myself personally, I would rather stay stationary just because I get a sense of mind that way. You know, I mean, I can go to the restaurant. I ain't got to worry about going to the restaurant and I got 5 minutes to hurry and get back. You know, right. You know, your food ain't settling on your stomach and you burping and trying to play and all that stuff, you know, and some other things happen too. You got to go to the bathroom right then and then. You got to hold it. You playing like you jamming with the music, but you actually trying to hold it. You know, I mean, it's give up. And then as time go with the age play upon you, so we can't hold ourselves like we used to. You know.
Okay.
It's what it is.
You know, Carla, just in case, I think what the question you originally had was about residency.
Yeah.
Most musicians that talk about residency, what happens, they're not talking about on the road. Residency, you're in one stationary spot, and it's usually not where you are. It's like Vegas is a residency.
Exactly.
Austin city limits would be a residency. Nashville would be a residency. Or you do a house group for a certain act, or you do a show. And usually what happens with those shows, they usually have 2 shows a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 3. But it's would sound like it's easier, but it's harder because like you just said, it's a lot of wear and tear on that. Because I have some friends of mine, remember the old group? You might not remember, you're too young, Galib Galab. They went to Vegas years ago, some buddies of mine. They still there. A friend of mine, Fred House, his name is Fred Eckstein now. He has residency. They all had to move. They no longer have connection in Chicago except for family.
I got you.
They have to stay there.
See,
you never know where you're walking into.
Right.
Never know.
Right. Just there.
Okay, well, I want to know, Mr. Hawkins, then, since you are, as far as studio and that this is where you are, this is your joy, your passion. What do you find about deciding to put down your roots and just say, okay, I'm going to go and spend my time in the studio? What do you find so fulfilling about that?
Okay, now for the record, I still play. All right, now.
No, I know you still play, and he's still magnificent and amazing. He still plays.
Right. Okay,
I like that.
But here's the whole thing, okay? Studio work gives you a chance to be creative.
Right.
Okay, and when you're doing studio work, you can, like me and you talking, I might look at your hair and I might say, okay, I'm thinking about a song, I'm thinking about a bass line.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then I started saying to myself that music is really a universal language. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and when you, like with these guys here, I'm just not meeting them for the first time, but he's a guitar player. If he picked that guitar and started playing, I'm right along with him, okay? And whatever instrument he plays, keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You get the language right there. So the creative part about the studio that I love when I'm sitting down and a person come into the studio and they begin to do whatever they do, and I'm the one that's helping produce them, I get the opportunity to be in there talking with them as they talk.
Right.
And so now we're communicating and we come up with these ideas, but that's really their song. I'm just happy to be a part of it, you know, because now I understand the language and I'm learning more. So I like that part. And then you don't have to really worry about getting up touring and going places that you're not comfortable with. You're right there at home, right in the midst of what you do. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Loving every moment. There you go.
Exactly. And you're still in your element. And you know what? I love that thing about collaboration. Even if you're a small part of it, it's really fulfilling doing that.
Now, you know, the one thing that we did not mention, we originally got together at a church.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we met. She's a vocalist.
Whoa, we got a singer now.
Yeah, she sings, but we need some backtrack. She'll do that.
You got some music you want to do?
We're working on it already.
There you go.
Working on it. We're working on her single, we're working on his stuff. Naturally, I just finished mine. I'm working on the second one. Okay.
Yes.
We do, but we're all musicians, and that's how we met.
See?
You know, we had a fourth person with sax, but
yeah,
he couldn't be with us for it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the sax.
Me too.
Love it.
I do. Okay. This is a question for all of you. Aside from the instrument or instruments that you play, if you could pick an instrument that you do not play now currently or have never played before, and you could just automatically pick it up and just play, what instrument would you choose? And we'll start with our guest first.
Yeah, you first.
Saxophone. I would like to have.
I knew it. That's what made me bring.
I want the alto and that tenor.
Oh, there you
go. Especially the tenor sax.
That talks.
Yeah. I love this.
Oh, you won't save me for last, huh?
Nope. Even she thought that was funny.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I like the saxophone too, but I
Ooh.
never really, put any effort into trying to learn it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So my other instrument would be a bass guitar.
Oh, cool. That's why you got all those basses at the house?
Mm-hmm.
He even lent me a bass. He has a 5-string bass that I've got because when he came to the church, one bass player, because we had a sax player, and he said, would you mind playing basses? Yeah, but I don't have a bass. He said, oh, I got one. I said, oh, what kind? He said, I got 4 different. I went, I thought he played bass.
I get everything a keyboard player's dream is. That.
Uh-oh, we got to go to his studio.
I mean,
yes, we do.
Yeah,
that's cool. Well, I'll be honest. The only other instrument I've even thought about playing was piano, but because I love guitar so much, anything related to a string instrument, I would love to play it.
Okay.
I know how to play other instruments. Only other string instrument I might like would be pedal steel guitar. I love that sound.
Yes.
Okay.
I know this brother that's playing blues and country. He's playing blues with a pedal string guitar, with a pedal string. Oh God, you're talking about something pretty.
They doing that in gospel, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, See, mine would be cello, because I fiddled around with almost every instrument, but cello, you know, that yo-yo ma thing, yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty.
yeah, that's yeah, cello or harp,
That's still a stringed instrument.
yes, yes, yeah. See,
Guitar.
yeah, I like that, and the passion you can just put into it. Norman, the sax, you saying the sax surprised me.
For real?
Actually, my
Yeah.
mom plays the sax. Actually, plays a bunch of instruments.
Oh, one of those.
A bunch
I hate
of
him already.
Sax, and, keyboards. And he's a singer too.
Oh.
He does opera.
Not the opera singer. He plays all that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's got a number of opera things up. Watch.
That's good. You know, Chicago is full of musicians. When you go to California, the first thing that they look at is that a lot of Chicago musicians is out there.
Yeah.
And it's the sound that we have in Chicago.
Mhm.
Really, folks are trying to get our sound.
Yes.
That's interesting. I never
Think
thought
about it. Yeah, they're trying to get our sound, man, because a lot of the musicians that's in different parts of the world come straight out of Chi-Town.
Hmm.
And they get down. Trust me.
Yeah.
JT is the one who told me that if I ever went to Europe and played over in England, he'd never come back. He told me that years ago. I had to laugh about that.
Yeah,
I
but
should have followed his advice.
you've been over in Europe.
Shoot, yeah. Me and my wife been over there.
Yeah.
I went to Amsterdam. I had a ball.
I would like to go back to Hawaii.
Too expensive.
No, it's not.
For real?
No. I mean, what's expensive about Hawaii? All you're gonna do is eat fruit, get that from the tree, fish,
Yeah.
right there,
Uh-huh.
and vegetables.
Hmm.
And mist. And by the time you
For real?
cross the street, the rain stopped.
Mm.
And only thing you can get a job there like that. All you gotta do is just go on the shores of the beach, sweep the sand back out the door. They hire you. You can be a bum and get off the plane. You got it made. I got it made.
We go play in Hawaii. I don't want to work.
And there's no
Job.
code, no dress code. Anything you
Ooh.
might put on.
Real?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I was in Waikiki. It takes about 3.5 hours to walk the whole island.
Ooh.
Think about it.
Ooh, okay. Well, I have another question. I want to know more about SlamminDatBass Productions.
Oh yeah.
Well, SlamminDatBass Productions started off with just one bass guitar and a laptop and a drum machine.
Oh, wow.
That was all. Because when I asked God to bless me with a studio, I began to just think all I'm gonna do is just play my bass into a DAW and have a drum machine. I was just, just do my little tat tat tat. So then next thing I ended up buying a looper. Now, you gotta have a looper. Buy the looper, and I'm just doing my little grooves with the bottom bass, and then I'm soloing, because I play a 6-string bass too.
Okay.
So I'm soloing with the 6-string, right? Sounded good. And then all of a sudden I ran out of sounds with the drum machine. So then I started inquiring of what can I do to get a little bit above. So now I caught the bug, okay? But it was actually God was working with me. So as I caught this bug, I said, I gotta go get a better interface because I needed better mic breeds. And then I ended up buying something that I can really work with. I bought this little keyboard, because you need that for your little MIDI sounds. And so I said, okay, I MIDI sounds. But I didn't want to do beats. Now, being in the studio, my thing is that I did not want to do beats, did not want to do rap, and I definitely didn't want to do no hip hop. So now I need to work with real musicians, right?
Yeah.
So in order for me to work with real musicians, I needed to get the things that musicians felt comfortable with. I started out with 73 key keyboard. One of my friends came over and said, Ricky, that's nice, man, but when they want to really do those chords and they want to feel that hammer feel, you got to get something better than that. I said, get something better. Man, ain't nobody got no money. All right.
Thank you.
All of a sudden, I think I turned into a junkie by dealing with Sweetwater.
Oh,
all right. So they was able to let you get your stuff on credit.
They still do it.
But it was only 3 months. And I needed more than that because the more something costs, the more money you got to pay a month. Yeah. So I need to stretch that out. So I turned into a junkie with Sounds. I turned into a junkie with Sounds. Started buying instruments and everything, but I started talking to my musician friends. to see what was what. And now having this home studio, I went and I started, it's like building the art, okay? I started padding the walls and started soundproofing everything and started getting that little sound there. And so what made me say slamming that bass, not because I'm a bass player, okay, it's because I'm looking for a certain sound. And the sound I was looking for, I wanted everybody to enjoy this sound, like a Motown thing or something like Savoy's record. So you got to have your own sound that people like. So I figured if I get something like a mid-range punchy sound, listen to people like Gerald Albright, Norman Brown, Wayman Tisdale. I love the way their mixes was. So I said, I got to do something to get this mix right and get people to come to me. And so that's what I started working on. And next thing you know, I was able to start working with some great, artists. And they loved it. And I ended up getting in rotation on the radio off the back. Yeah. So there it is. Nice. Yeah.
Wow.
That is cool.
And look at you now from where you started to where you are.
Nobody but God.
That's right.
Nobody but God. I cannot say enough about that. Nobody but God. I asked him for production.
Right. There you go.
See, and I love how you are saying that you're learning, you're helping, you're continuing on to bring about the next generation, which is really great. You're passing it on.
He's helping other artists.
See,
good.
Remember when you started the church, somebody influenced you, right? Somebody influenced you. And even with me.
A nun.
Right. A nun?
A nun, actually. See? My buddy.
I remember, yeah.
The guitar player showed me some stuff, but the nun's the one that actually did most of it.
And see,
her in Creole Chop.
We got to remember, when we're small, somebody's influencing us.
Yep.
Now you have to have that like mind. Who is actually you influencing? And I was surprised to know, as I was out there playing bass, there's some artists out there now that's playing for people like Fred Hammond.
Yeah.
Playing for Janet Jackson and so on. I influenced them. But I had people that influenced me, like Mike Manson. Know him? Mike Manson influenced me. Richard Patterson.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can go on and on for the people that influenced me. It's the late. I gotta give him recognition. The late Anthony Harmon. Anthony Harmon was in our circuit. You remember him, Anthony Harmon? He was a left-hand bass player, but he played a right-hand bass upside down.
Right.
Ooh.
And that dude was doing we call it wicked. You sit there, man, how you do that? You get to turn your head upside down.
See what he's doing.
We used to sit down and share. And so the young folks that I deal with right now, they some monsters on the instruments.
Yeah.
And then some of them are going to school to learn.
Yeah.
And man, they are bad. So what happens is a lot of them call me uncle. Okay, and so I'm Uncle Ricky to them, but I get them all in a circle and turn them loose. You got your horn players, you got your guitar players, your bass players, your keyboards, your singers, and then their crowd brings another crowd in, and the beat goes on. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. That is wonderful. And because I know we're going to be wrapping this up, what are some of your upcoming projects?
Well, right now I just dropped a single. May 22nd, I just dropped it and it's in rotation right now. It's called Shaking It Off.
Good job.
I got a few more things that's on the grid that's coming out. I got another one called A Slice of Cake. That'll be coming out next, end of this month. This is June.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a lot of projects that's really ready to go. I'm just taking my time sending it out. My goal is to do one single a month.
Oh, nice. Oh, very, very nice.
Sound like
well,
Gregory Eccles.
That's my buddy.
Yeah.
That's my buddy.
Yeah, you know Gregory too?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he was on here and he was talking the same thing. Constantly doing stuff.
Greg Eccles is on my first EP, God's New Mercies. So he's doing some keyboard work on that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Small world.
Excuse me, Carla. Marcus looked like he had a question. Do you have a question, Marcus?
One question.
I know you were thinking something.
Dealing with the youth, do you have any advice for new musicians about the music business part of it? Anything to look out for people going into the business part of music?
I got a young man by the name of Justin Smith. He did this saxophone piece called Joy. You can look him up on YouTube. Justin, I said, stay in church. Make sure you get God as your guide. You have to. Okay, because a lot of folks was gonna snatch you up. Okay, because when I was young, they want you to play and do things. You probably remember this Jubilee Showcase.
Oh, I remember that.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I was the little guy with the big bass. So anytime I came, it made you feel good because you can perform. But the thing about it is, though, when you need that spiritual guidance, because a lot of our youth is coming from broken families right now.
Sure.
And so you really need that guidance. You need that love. I mean, that real, for real love. When I was growing up, they kept us in church. And when they found out we can play, they gave us that love first through the word. And then after that, we played. You know, so I would tell a young person, that you're finding your gift, but find God as well as your gift. And then all this come together, you know, and that would be my advice to a young person.
You know, Ricky, just to mention right quick, I listen to Steve Harvey. He has a little inspirational thing every morning. I always listen to that. One of the biggest things he says, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. And he said, when I was doing everything, wasn't doing right, pushing myself, he said, that's different. When I finally got more than God, like my mother said, stay with God, things just opened up.
That's what it does. Because you get to remember, gifts come without repentance.
Thank you.
True.
And music is in all of us, but you have to find what it is that God wants you to speak through.
Right.
You speaking to him through the keyboard. You're
Right.
doing it through the guitar.
Right.
I'm doing it to the bass. You're doing it vocally. See, and music move God. You know, he's the word. So how much word can you give the word? But if you sue the word, hey, you're dealing with something, you know? That's what's happening.
Yes. And it pays to stay rooted, grounded, and have those people that you know support you, look out for you, lift you up when you need to be lifted up, but maybe take you down a skosh when you when you need that too.
You get it.
And I know you said we were running out of time, so I just want to let everybody know, thank you very much for Ricky coming, because we got to do some other stuff right quick. And Carla, it's all yours.
Okay, as we close this up, we'd like to thank the wonderful and amazing Mr. Rickey Hawkins for joining us. We can't wait to have you back. And as we close, because we're not going to say it together, because every time we try to say it together, something goes wrong.
It works.
So thank you to our wonderful seedlings. We couldn't do this without you. And as always, plant a seed and watch it grow. Bye-bye.